And welcome back to the Mindful Model Makers Workshop. What we're going to do this evening is just show you some progress that I've made in the last few days. There haven't been many videos, but I've been doing lots of bits and pieces. This is a Gauge 1 Class 33, which I started probably about a year or so ago. It's got the bogies on, it's got the motors. I've done a lot of the building of it. I also had, if you can see inside there, these controls made. There's a guy on eBay that does the controls for a Class 33 for the Lima O gauge one. And I had him increase the size. So now, if you look in there, I mean, I've driven these for real, so I know what they look like. And you're not going to get a truer representation than that. So this is a kit. It is 3D printed. You can see what it's like to start with and how I got this. There are some photos on my site of when I did this. And of course what I did is keep putting body filler on, car body filler, that's what that is, rubbing it down. And then this yellow is a filler primer, which you get from Halfords, and it fills. And yeah, we've roughly got the shape. There's quite a way to go on this yet. But also what I've done in the last week or so, I've now got all the radio control gear for it. And I've also got a DCC chip with the actual sound of a Class 33. So I went to Fossworks in the end because Fossworks did all the bits that I needed to do this. These are all the bits. So it's a 2.4 gig receiver and it also goes for DCC decoders as well. So I've got the actual chip for the sound. Is all in here. So that's the actual chip is in that bag there. Got the battery that will be going in it as well, charger and all the other bits. Also the speaker with like a sound pod bit on it to give it a little bit more depth. And then in here you've got all the other radio stuff, the speed controller and various bits. And quite a nice little touch, I'll show you, that Steve puts on these things is he's put my name on, and it's for the Class 33. And you've got all your different bits to bind it, and then all the different functions that will come up. There is a sheet with all the functions on. It switches on there, so you get a red light come on. And then this is also your controller as well. So I'll turn that off for now. So that's it. So that is the actual controller that will control this. So this will have full sound and it'll be fully radio controlled when I get round to that bit. That will be later this year. So that's something to look forward to if that's what you're into. So it's Gauge 1, Class 33, and it will be fully radio controlled, and it's got the DCC Class 33 chip in it. So it will sound like the real thing. So that's one thing that's going on this year. Right, so I'm just going to remove that. I'll hold it up. The end, nothing's really fixed on it yet. So there's the bogies. It's got 4 motors, 2 on each bogie. Again, they were done by Fossworks as well. And I got them last year. So they're all on and ready to go. So hopefully sometime this year there will be some video footage of this belting around the track that I go to. So I'll put that to one side. Now while we're talking about Gauge 1, I will show you another little project that I'm working on. See if I can get this down without crashing it on my head. Now this is something that came into my ownership over the weekend. This is let's move the camera around. This is a Gauge 1 Mona. It didn't move when I first got it. It has a boiler which could be run on live steam. But what I'm going to do, because it's so old, I don't really want to mess about too much. I'm going to look to see if I can actually fix a cog on one of these wheels. It's quite doubtful at the moment because the length of time it's been fitted together. I mean, yesterday the back was bent. I managed to straighten that out. There's the wheels too. So it's an 062 Lcut. I believe the motor, the LBSC's motor, if you're into model engineering, was a 3.5 inch gauge, but this is a gauge 1. It's on a piece of track that's not very good. Anyway, that would fix up there. And I've also got a dome because obviously there'll probably be a water filler plug there, but it's not going to run steam. So that needs filing down and fitting. And then I have got the rest of the Lcut, which is mainly made of brass and steel. A lot of brass and steel. So there's the cab. You've got brass windows, brass spectacle plates on there. This is quite nice. It's got the splashers on there and everything else. So that will fit over there. It won't go on at the moment. But this will make a nice gauge 1 Lcut. I suspect what I will do is get something like a gauge 1 baggage coach of some description, box fan, to go on the back, weight that and motorise that so that it actually pushes it, which is probably the easiest way. And the other thing is that I can use that if I get other Locos in a similar state, because obviously this, yeah, it can be brought back, it can be resurrected, but there's a lot of work on that. And to be honest, if I can put battery power onto that, it'll run round and it'll look just nice. It's something from the past that I'm going to resurrect. So there we go. So that's all of that bit. That fits forward onto there, onto the actual buffer beam. It's all been connected up, but I've disconnected it because I had to clear the axles and I had to straighten out the actual frames at the back because they looks like somebody dropped it or done something to it. But anyway, it's okay now. So that's another project that I will be working on this year as well. And the other thing is what I do, because I'm that much older now, I buy a lot of things now while I can afford them, because later on I might not, and I'll have a box load of things that I can get on with. So that's another thing. So in a sense, yes, I'm hoarding stuff, but it's basically for when the day comes that perhaps I haven't got enough to go out and buy, like the Class 33. The Class 33 owes the best part of £1,000 already. All right, when it's finished, you could probably sell it for 2 or maybe a bit more, because they don't come off the shelf. Somebody has to make it. It comes as a kit form only. So that's the only way you can get that. But anyway, this is another project. So I'll just lift it there. You can see the front. Oops, the dome's come off. There we go. Let's turn it around like so. And you can see that, yeah, it doesn't want a lot. So while it's all like this and I'll get it all sorted out, I'll probably rub it down and probably respray it, put a little bit more detail into the Loco. But yeah, that's it. So as you can see, the wheels do turn now. They stick a little bit, but it wants a good soaking in oil, really. There's lots of dust and flick and everything everywhere on there. So it needs to go in an old bowl with something in there to degrease it. And but anyway, that's a gauge 1 Mona. So that is another project for maybe later this year, if not some other time. But hopefully you will see it as it progresses, because I'd like to run that as well. Right, so we'll move on from there. Let's see what else we got. I've always got something, as you know. So I'll put that back up there for now. Right, okay. the next thing, right, I bought a new wagon. This was quite nice actually. I bought this off eBay. This is a guy who does a lot of things with Mammoth, PJLW. Look that up. And I mean, this is mint, and it's absolutely beautiful. So Peter Jones Loco Works, okay, look that up. And it's basically a Mammoth chassis, so it's running 16mm, and on top is an old Hornby O-gauge crane, which has all been re-powder coated and put on this lovely wagon. So this will, in the summer, go behind the little old MSS Loco that I've got, which there are videos of that where I've modified it with various bits and pieces like a regulator and gas. I've converted it to gas, so you'll see that running in the summer. And I think just a beautiful bit of kit. If you look at some of the stuff that he does on there with old Mammoth bits and pieces and MSS stuff, you will think, oh, some of the stuff you can pick up quite cheap and you can convert it like he does, and yeah, I think it's quite good. So that's something else I purchased, and that arrived a few days ago. So yeah, very nice. That, quite pleased with that. So now let's get on to this. This is the Lcut building that I'm doing for my club. I did put a little video on, I think it was Friday, Saturday, I can't remember what day. And what I've been doing over the weekend, because we were away in a motorhome, I've changed a few bits. So I bought the ratio guttering and downpipe kit. Comes in a pack, various different bits and pieces. You just measure it, cut it up, and you can see underneath there where it's stuck on. So I put like a board, like a fascia board along, and then I glued the gutter to it. So the gutter wouldn't go right up to the actual tiles on the roof, or slates in this case, because otherwise the water would miss the guttering completely. So it's usually down a bit and out a bit, so that the water comes and then goes down. And then I got the down pipes on there. The little building, I've done a bit to that as well, put a small bit of guttering. The pipe wasn't quite long enough. I might either find a little bit or just leave it like that, because it's probably cast iron from the days when this was, and it could have just broken off. I've also put steps on the end. So I've been doing a bit of work. So the next bits of work I'll be doing on this model, I will probably glaze it, because what I've got to do now, I'll show you the back, because the back is quite ugly. As you can see, it's all because Lcut comes with lots of pieces. You put them together in a kind of a format really that suits you for the building. So the doors on the side there. So there will be a little platform on the outside, and obviously the floor on the inside. And there will be a small little crane bit that goes, a winch type crane that goes down the side, which swivels in and out. That is to be built. That's a separate laser cut excuse me, kit that I've got to build. And on the front there, I've put the sliding big doors that would be there. So there we are. There is the floor to go inside that. And then what I'll do is I'll paint the inside walls, glaze the windows, and then put a false walls in and probably paint them. Whether there'll be any other detail on that, I don't know. I've got to find out really what else we need. But that's the next bit really, glazing. And because this is low relief, the actual top bit does stick up a bit above the backdrop of the layout. So I will be boxing that in so that you can't, so that when if you're walking around the back of the layout, you don't see all the bits on the inside. Because this bit is just a roof area anyway. So I will just put a piece of card across there, glue it, probably paint it black. And then down on the other bits and pieces is where I'll probably put a false wall in. And may have something the other side. On one model I made, what I did, I actually photographed the inside of a factory and glued the photos inside. So when you look through the windows, you could actually see the inside of a factory, which is quite a cheap way of producing an interior for your model. So anyway, that's the Lcut so far. So as you can see, it's progressing quite well. So it's the little crane that I'm going to make for that next. And after that, I will be making a little shed type workshop, which is brass. So if none of you have made brass before, I'm probably not going to solder it. I will probably cheat and I will probably araldite it, because most people then could do that. Whereas with the soldering, yeah, the brass is not going to melt. But what can happen is if you heat bits too, for where you've soldered other bits, they can come off. So you have to work sometimes with different temperatures of solder and that. But aralditing is a way that will cover for the beginner. Anyone who can solder, well, they know what they're doing anyway, so they don't really want me showing them. But I might do a little bit just to show you. But anyway, so I think this Lcut building is looking really nice now. Not because I made it, but I think as if you've seen the video that I took on Thursday at my model club, you'll see it actually on the layout with some other buildings. There's a nice United dairies, there's a little house with an old car, and there's a beautifully built signal box as well. So yeah, so it's all beginning, that layout, considering it's been started years and years ago, it's now beginning to progress, because now we've got new premises and there's more people getting interested in building for that railway. So that's what's happening. So anyway, that's giving you a bit of a look as to what's coming. So there'll be some Class 33, and there will be a steam loco, but not powered by steam. It'll be powered by a radio control of some description. So I'll get a radio control unit for that. And I'll probably cheat and motorise a wagon, which I think will be the easiest thing to do, because the axles are quite thick in that. There's not a great deal of room. I don't really want to cut the boiler up, because that way, if somebody ever wants to put that loco back to where it is, I haven't done much to destroy it. It will be there, and if they want to build various bits and pieces to put it back to how it should be, then that's up to them. I just like things to make it look nice and have it running with some coaches, wagons, whatever on it, because that's what I like doing, playing trains, really. So there we are. But that's it. I'm still working on the loco remote stuff, so that's something else that's going on as well. I'm building the little desktop railway, painting that. So you'll see various bits of that as that comes along. So hopefully this week there'll be 2 or 3 different bits and pieces that I'm doing, and you'll be able to see. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you like the channel, there's loads of bits on the channel, so have a look through. There's 300 odd videos on here now. If you like, then like it. If you'd like to subscribe so you can see what's coming all the time, then please do that. It doesn't cost anything, and you can keep up with whatever I am. I have a job to keep up with me, so whether you'll keep up with me, I've got no idea. But anyway, you can give it a go. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye now.